Hey, what's going on? This is Jesse. I'm here talking about the Paladin, more specifically the Templar Paladin, the tank path. I'm going to talk about the skills, the 10 skill bar, uh, which skills I use in fights and why I use them, and some of the runes as well. And the runes will explain why I use certain skills in certain ways. So let's start with a simple rotation. So first thing you should notice is that um, Glory of Paladins. I'm trying to keep that up as much as possible. This is one of the more powerful moves the Paladin has, especially with tanking and in PvP. Um, the spell is really, really good because not only does it give your normal attacks a little extra damage, but it heals you for a lot of the damage you're taking. So, for example, if you're just standing there and you activate Glory of Paladins and someone starts attacking you, there's a good chance that your health might actually go up rather than down. You would think that from taking damage you should lose health, but Glory of Paladins will usually heal you back for the damage taken, plus some more. Um, so you should treat Glory of Paladins kind of like a buff that should be kept on at most times. If you notice that it's activated for this long, and it disappears, and now I can activate it again. See how fast that is? There's a very, very short time when that can activate it. So a lot of times during a stun, the first priority you should have is activate Glory Paladins and perhaps a shield. Um, the forget the name here. Sorry. Let's see. Durance of Truth. Durance of Truth is like the bread and butter of the Paladin class. It's your leap, it's your heal, it's your armor boost, it's your silence, it's your stun, all in one. This skill is like almost like the I win button. If you get charged with a paladin with this move, it's not looking good already. Um, yeah, so this one should be your leap, obviously. If you're at range in a PvP fight, you don't necessarily have to start with that. Sometimes people like to do, or I like to do, Taurus Sword, maybe, and then the Flying Shield, and then the leap. The reason I do a Taurus Sword and then Shield Order, a Shield of Order, uh, they're both pretty good DPS skills. They do some nice damage. But if I show you here in the runes, uh, Light of Vengeance increases Shield of Order damage by a certain amount within 6 seconds after you use the Sword of Justice or Taurus Sword. Uh, so usually you should just use Taurus Sword, and then within 6 seconds use your shield. That will also give you a huge damage boost. Um, let's try to stay on track here. So, okay, the active skills. Sword of Justice, aka Taurus Sword. I always liked the name Taurus Sword before, but they changed it. This one is good for single target damage. The biggest utility I find for this one is it's a shield breaker. It breaks shields. So if you're fighting a mystic or another paladin or a warrior who decides to throw up 75% shield, he's he's gone crazy and he wants to just tank the crap out of you. You can drop Sword of Justice and it will just remove his shield. This is incredibly useful. If I'm playing a paladin and I'm fighting a mystic, I usually wait until I see the Paladin. I usually wait until I see the Mystic um, put on Arcane Shield. I usually wait for their shield, and then I do Sword of Justice. It usually works this way. Um, they will try to time you. When I'm playing a Mystic, I notice that uh, when I'm fighting a Paladin, I try to time it so that I put my shield after with their Sword of Justice. I wait for them to cast Sword of Justice on me first, and then I do my shield because I know that they're going to try to break my shield with that. Divine Guidance is your pretty much go-to AoE heal. It's great for groups. It does a little bit of AoE damage. It's nice. Raining Sword, one of the Paladin's strongest moves. Huge AoE damage, and also gives you the shield when you're in tank path. Sword of Covenant. Sword of Covenant should not be used 99% of the time when you're playing a Templar Paladin, just because it shares a cooldown with Durance of Truth. So this one, you should not put on your 10 skill bar. I would not recommend it. The damage it does is pretty nice, but it's not going to help you in a PvP situation, really. It doesn't really do much. It does nice damage over time, but the person has to be standing underneath it, which they're probably not going to. And you're 9 times out of 10, you're much better off using Durance of Truth. It's just a better move all around. Rampart of Guardian. Now this one is it's very good for PvP. It's decent for PvE. It's not necessary. For PvP, this one is incredibly great. It's a knockdown, and it's a silence. It can interrupt Purifying Blast if you're fighting a Mystic. If you see them doing Purifying Blast and you're up close to them, hit Rampart of Guardian, and it interrupts them, stops their skill, and they can't cast it for a few more seconds. It's wonderful. Shield of Order, huge DPS. I would recommend using this in any rotation for a Paladin. It does take away a little bit of your health, but as you know, Paladins regenerate like crazy. And this is not usually a problem, especially since you also have a rune here for, I believe it's, no, right here. Where is it? Okay, here. Rampart of Faith rune. This increases your regeneration. It's good. I've found a lot of the Paladin runes to be useful. Pretty much the only ones that I don't care for are the Sword of Covenant ones, because I'm not a DPS Paladin. But every other rune is incredible. And I recommend putting points into almost all of them. For example, Light of Elegance, after using Divine Guidance. Wait, no. Okay, so you use Sword of Justice and then Divine Guidance. So that would be like this. Sword of Justice, Divine Guidance. So right now, for 6 seconds, I have damage reduction, which is also really great. You want as much damage reduction and as much healing and tanking as possible. So in any rotation, you would probably want to go, I don't know, it's a little off here, but you could do, say, Taurus Sword, Shield Order, heal. That way you have extra damage for your Shield Order, and your Divine Guidance also gave you a damage reduction. I gotta wrap this up because my headphones are about to die. It's not a phrase I often say, but yeah. So, Glory of Paladins, as I said before, is an incredibly powerful move. Keep this up as much as possible. It's your heal that makes people say Paladins are OP. Because you know you can heal yourself with Judgment, but if you're taking damage and you're healing yourself back for it, that just makes people cry. Like, it's almost like it's almost like they never know when to attack you. It's very difficult for them. Endurance of Truth, I already said. This is an incredible move for the Paladin. Judgment, taunts, heals, wonderful. Yeah, so let's try to do rune overview real quick. Judgment damage, good. Judgment healing, good. Glory of Paladins, absolutely, you want that. This one is okay. The duration is not so great. I mean, it's 9 seconds. Well, for me, it's 0.9 seconds, but you can increase that. It gives the group a little bit of extra self-heal for a short amount. It's nice to have. It's not incredibly important. Unless you're playing as the specific DPS off heal, you want to put a lot of points into that one. You want your regenerations and range. It's good. Taurus sword damage, good. These are good. This one's not so important. It's the silence for Rampart of Guardian. It's already good enough that you have an interrupt. You don't really need a long silence for it. This one is okay. It gives a little bit of heal when you use Taurus sword to the lowest member in your group. It's not bad for being an off heal, but it's not really that important for being a tank. Unless you're solo, but also the self-heal is minimal compared to the other spells you have. Yeah. Shield Order, like I said, is really, really strong. You should use this in your rotations in any situation. PvP, PvE. For PvE, for example, the Paladin is a really good tank. The only problem is they don't have an AoE taunt like a warrior does. So you have to rely a lot on AoE damage. Otherwise, you're going to have people, say rangers or mystics or anyone or shadow knights, and they're going to be doing AoEs that are going to be pulling enemies off of your AoEs, and that could be a problem. It can get kind of messy, like when you're tanking one or two guys, and then one of the guys runs to the ranger and starts trying to kill him. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you keep your AoEs up. They have nice AoEs here. Rampart of Guardian it does minimal damage, but it's not bad for an AoE. It's really good in Mystica because you can knock down enemies as well. And any enemy that's knocked down does less damage. Let's see. Normal attack damage, you want that. This one is not so important. It reduces the speed of the enemy. It's good for if you're trying to catch up with rangers or mystics. Pretty much anyone trying to escape you, because they're going to want to. No one in their right mind would try to fight a paladin up close. That's just suicide. I already explained these two, and Covenant Sword runes are pretty useless for a tank paladin. Maybe put a few points into there for the HP, but that's about it. Just a quick rotation again. Glory of Paladins, keep it up. Keep up your shields. Keep your taunt up. that's pretty much it. So I hope this was a helpful video. Kind of ranted a little bit, but I hope it was knowledgeable for you. And have a great day.